to this, our next video in the series of the best green lanes in the UK. So this is Pig Lane. So this we did on the last day we were in Wales in April. It was my favourite lane of all. Absolutely loved it. The whole way there and all the way back. I never got in the car once. I was spotting and filming the whole way. It just shows how good it was. The only drawback is when you get to the top, you have to turn around and come back. It's blocked right at the very top. But in some way, that was really good fun because that meant we got to do the lane going down. So it's quite steep going up and then coming back down. So this is right at the very, very beginning of the lane. So it's just Chris driving this Shogun, and we've got Ian behind. Dave behind us in the Disco. Ian had got a long way home to go, so he'd set off home at this time of the day. So there's just the two cars going. As you can see, this is right at the beginning. You can see we just got underneath that tree, just with those lights on top, and there was that really nasty rock just there. That if we turned too quickly, we could just smash into there and end up denting this side of the car as well. So I've been really careful to make sure he doesn't as he goes up this steep bit. So Chris is taking it carefully, and through he goes. And thankfully, I can say we didn't get any damage from that rock on that side of the car there. So that was the introduction to start of the lane. So that's Chris in there then. Let's go in, and as you can see, that even there he's starting to slip. So it's quite difficult. I really don't want him to go backwards at this stage. So he's just engaging the right gear, and then off he goes. Now he's in low ratio in the gear, so he's gone off nice and easily. There was, even though it had been very dry in April, there was still some water up here because it is Wales, as you can imagine. So the next bit we came across was a very small but little water crossing just here. So as you can see, Chris was leading all the way up with Dave behind him in the cars. This time we still got a nice little bow wave in front of him, and yes, I still did get my feet wet, which seems to happen quite often when Chris drives through the puddles. Actually, I'm spotting a bit of a pattern with that. But here comes Dave doing a slightly different angle up here. Still going to go through it. There he goes, nice and slow, nice and gentle, nowhere near the same wave at the front, and I didn't get my feet wet on that time, so thank you very much, Dave. This was really interesting because this really cross axles the wheels, because if you look very closely as we face it, the front wheel on the left hand side here, it's actually quite high in there in a minute as it comes over this bit here. The articulation of the Shogun's not actually that great really, so it actually really comes up in the air. So it's now actually off the air complete. You can see it's complete off the air there as he goes along, so it has to drive really slowly, so it's quite high up in the air. He's bouncing around up there, and then slowly down it goes, and whoosh, what a bump down. That's what we call cross-axle articulation. So he's now down there and having to think about it. So now he's obviously the backwards are going to be doing the same. This is Dave spotting from on the right hand side here. So he goes up the other side. There's a bit of momentum, and again, if you notice that left wheel's coming off the ground quite a bit there. It's the best we can do with the lack of articulation. And then from here, it was back into a really lean into the left one. We have a dial in the car that tells you what leans you're on actually. And I think it was at least 32 degrees, if not maybe 34 degrees here. So you can see how angled that is. Dave's sort of like holding on a bit, pushing it to make sure it doesn't go over. But I mean, look at that angle there. And actually at this time, Dave was actually asking Chris to look at that. Then you can see Chris looking across in the car to see what angle he was at. And I was over here saying, don't worry about the angle of the car, Chris. Concentrate on driving, please. But he was quite keen to look, because that front wheel on the right looks like it's almost, it has come off the ground there, completely off the ground. Can you see that? So that's how much angle. So we're very near the tipping point at that stage. I know we'd have only fallen into the banks, would have been serious, but with that wheel coming off the ground, it just shows how near the tipping point we were. And sorry a bit for the shaking the camera. That's me walking back at the same time. So this is Dave now in the Disco 2, going to do the same thing, and just watch his left wheel as he goes over. I've been out with Dave quite a few times now, and he does have much better articulation on his wheels in that car than we do. So it's still up in the air, as you can see, but it's a lot lower down than it was in the Shogun. So that's articulated down. That's a really good shot there to show it articulates down quite well, but it still was in the air for some while. and he comes back up this side here, and on this one here, if you notice, it doesn't come off the ground. Oh, the other side has come off a small bit, but he doesn't bring that one off at all. Now he's moving along the lean-to bit with some confidence. Chris is there ready to hop on that side if he needs some counterweight, but Dave was fine on this bit. So he makes that nice and safely, and that's well done to the Disco. So there's a whole series of different rocks all the way along. It's just different challenges all of Pig Lane. You don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over. It's just a mixture of different things. So here again, very tight on that right hand side there to miss that, because he needed to miss the back side on his right, and then on the left there, just missing that with Dave guiding him through there as he goes. So they're quite tight up and down, and then here's Dave doing a different part of the route, but again with this bit here you can see the difficulty because the car wants to push you slightly to the side, just about here, and then there's a big tree trunk down there which would cause some damage if he hits that. But he's trying to go as close to that as he can without actually hitting it. He just hit the route slightly with his tyres, but that's absolutely fine. So he's keeping as close into that side as he can, and then with a little bit of wheel spin, small bit, out he goes. And there's Chris with a bit of wheel spin as well. Comes up this bit more wheel spin, traction control takes over, he gets him up that bit, but just here, I know that doesn't look very big, steep at the front bit, but the back bit is actually just off the edge at the back, so he has to move back ever so slightly just to get a little bit of momentum on this bit, and just from there then he'll do it quite easily. But just his stop just at the worst bits. You can see how the car's been thrown about. That's Chris inside, been thrown all about the place. This is Dave again going over some bits again. You can see the car slipping down, slipping backwards there a bit. The wheels are spinning if you can look at it. So Chris is on the rescue, going to help, give him some support if he can. So Dave's moving back a bit to try that again with a bit more momentum. What a gorgeous day it was there, as you can see. The views from up here. We had the lane completely to ourselves, and the views were superb, and it was a lovely sunny day. So he's going to try a slightly different line now as Dave, and a bit more momentum, and he makes it, and he passes that tree nicely. So up he goes. So you can see, I mean, it was dry here, so this wasn't too difficult, other than it's very rutted, so he did need the clearance underneath the car for this. But imagine this when it's been pouring rain, it would be such a quagmire and so muddy, and the tires would be really sticking in. So I'm quite keen to do that lane again sometime. Here's another little bit. Again, there is still some water here. It comes up, and underneath that water, you don't know how muddy and slippy it is. The front wheel's coming off the ground again just there. But Chris controls that really well, and just continues straight through. And this was actually really tight. I'm not sure the angle. This was actually very steep and really tight coming around here, because there's big rocks just there that Dave has just successfully managed to miss, and another one just there. So to get that angle right, that was very good driving by Dave. I walked that bit and I thought, gosh, that's going to be hard. So watching Dave go up to there. So there he is, and then this is Chris doing a little bit with a bit of a lean as he's coming up near the top now. And less of a bank there to stop him. So if he fell here, I don't think we could overly push him up straight. So just hoping the car doesn't topple. But look at the angle that's getting at there. Crikey. You certainly wouldn't be able to get that passenger door at the moment, would you? But this is only the third day of Chris doing the off-roading. He's got so much more confidence now than when we did Horseshoe Hill on the first day. Things like this, he knows the capability of the car now. He knows how far he can push it, and this was really pushing it right the way to near the tipping point. He does it very well, and up and over those bits. Quite difficult. And this is Dave still coming up, having a bit of a wheel spin just there. But look at the brilliant articulation on that right wheel there. Look how low down it is. So it's touching the ground, which just gives him every chance he possibly can. There we get moving. And up he goes. And over. This is Chris again, the Shogun, doing a different part here, going up. initially trying to get over the roots. There's a little rut just there to come over. Trying to make sure he doesn't bash into the other side as he goes, because it's very easy for the cars to actually slip sideways a bit when they're on these things. You can see all the gnarly roots there and the stones, but also the lean on that and the step down that he needs to do as well as he's doing it. And this lane's only just a little bit wider than the cars really, so it's perfect. This is where we had to stop, so this is as we said, was impassable at this stage, unfortunately, so we had to stop here. But we'd been going for a long time by then, so this is a view from the top. It was a beautiful place for a picnic, so we had a lunch here, had a really nice picnic, enjoyed the scenery all by ourselves up there. It's a beautiful place. So that's Dave and Chris with the two cars there, and then of course it was on the way back down. I haven't put too much videos on the way back down, but this is just near the end of it. You may remember we're coming up this bit at the beginning underneath that low tree there. So this is Chris just coming back down, going around that really nasty rock there. That is a nasty rock, that is. Very easy to catch your back end on that. And then he goes under the tree, and the main road is just down there. So thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please do subscribe to the channel and click the like button. Thank you very much.